Hi everyone, I wanted to share a tool that I think you guys are really going to enjoy. This is a new AI tool that you can use to assess your students. It's a website called SchoolAI. I really like it a lot because it does allow your students to interact with AI, but does it in a safe manner where it does not require them to put in any true data or credentials into AI. So I'm going to show you a little bit about how it works. When you go to use SchoolAI, you can log in using your Google credentials. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to find a space and I'm going to actually choose an exit ticket. You could do a bell ringer and those can be really fun, but I'm going to show you how you can use an exit ticket to assess your students in a fun way. So I'm going to go over to our curriculum map. All right, I'm going to go on over to our 5th grade social studies standards, and we are in the 4th 9 weeks. So I've pulled an actual standard that we have here in regards to separation of powers. So I've got this standard here and our learning goal. We're learning about the different structures of U.S. government. So I'm going to use that to help me create an exit ticket. So when I go over into my exit ticket, it's going to first ask me to give a little bit of a description of the lesson. So I might say, in our lesson today, we went over the structures of the U.S. government and the democratic principles, talking about separation of powers and checks and balances. Here is where you can enter in your specific learning outcomes, and I'm going to pull those straight from our curriculum map. Again, you can see AI could generate those for you, but I'm going to go ahead and put them because we have success criteria in our curriculum maps. And then they also had defined checks and balances, but I want to have them give some examples of checks and balances between the branches of government. This is where you can personalize it a little bit more to your class. So let's say that I've got a 5th grade class, but their average reading level is going to be about a 3rd or 4th grade level. May talk about how they love the American Revolution, but they're really struggling with this concept of branches of government. But they really do well when I give analogies to school leadership. They can make those connections. And then down here, you could also give some specific insights. So maybe you really want them to, there's something specific you want them to be able to answer. I want them to give at least one example of checks and balances, but it could be a variety of different things. We played around with this with a group recently, and we had said that my class likes to use modern slang quite a bit. And so you can you can make it fit your group of students if they have a specific interest. You can see a preview here, so it's going to show you a little bit of an idea of what that's going to look like on the student end. And that seems to match kind of what I want it to do, so I'm going to go ahead and launch it. When I launch this exit slip or exit ticket, it's going to give a website for my students to be able to go to or a QR code. When I type that in, you're going to get to see what that looks like on the student end. So they get to put in their name. So you could have them just put in their first name, their initials, whatever you want them to do. Again, it does not require their actual credentials. So they can interact with it under a different name if you would like, if you just want to be extra safe. You can have it speak to them. They can also speak their responses back into this. So as you notice, this was a little bit different than my preview question. It's going to continue to generate questions specific to the students. Then as a student, I can go in and put in a response, and it will generate another response. So they will get to continue to talk to this chat bot until you choose to pause or end this session. So again, as a student, I might put in there, I saw that there were 3 branches. And then it's going to respond to the response that I put in there. And it's going to continue to give them prompts and generate some understanding from them. On the teacher side of things, in my spaces, here's that exit ticket, and you can see the participant here. You can see their last response. It's also going to give me some information here about the student and the different outcomes and how they're doing. if they're mastering the 2 different outcomes that I put in there. And if you want to, you can view the chat as well. So if you need to look in at specific students, I'm going to show you a different space that was actually a bell ringer so you can see what that looks like when you have multiple students in there. Here are my spaces. I'm going to go into one of the bell ringers that we had with a group, and you can see when you've got multiple students in there. This one doesn't have the outcomes because I didn't give specific outcomes, but it does give you a little bit about how they're feeling or how they're interacting with that chatbot. And then it's going to give you a little bit of a headline or a little bit of a summary about that student. And it's also going to use AI to tell you a little bit about the different students and the ways that they are interacting with the chatbot. So you're going to get some summaries, and you're also going to, like I said, on that other space with the exit slip, it's going to give you some very specific feedback on how they're doing on the actual outcomes here as well. So hopefully this is a kind of a fun way that you can have your students interact with AI. It does allow you to do some assessment, and it's just kind of a neat way to generate some summaries for you as a teacher.